It's Linda MacPhee's Workshop. Here's Linda.
Hi, and welcome to the workshop today. We are going to have some fun, and we always have fun. I'm so delighted to be within my own workshop because I've got all my stuff and all my favorite things, and favorite people keep dropping by. And who's dropping by today and who came to see me are Linda and Patricia from Swallow Hill Creations on our west coast of Canada.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And I saw you at a sewing show because I go to all the sewing shows, and I saw you two there making the most interesting things from beads, and I love beads. So tell me, what do you do?
Well, we knit and crochet with beads, Linda, and it sort of started from just a love of handwork, working with beads, working with fiber, taking things that were from our past. A lot of our designs are replica, vintage type things, but resizing them and redoing them to make them more modern.
Oh, the beads just make this scarf come alive.
Oh, thanks.
That makes a person want to knit and crochet.
Well, this is
so, but yeah. What is this? Knit and
this
crochet?
is April. It's knit.
April,
it's knit
you have
with
them all named?
Oh, well, of course. And we called this one April because it reminded us of raindrops on the bare branches in spring out here on the prairies.
Oh,
because
lovely.
while we're on the coast now, we're from the prairies. So
okay, they name them all. We may have to get them off that island once in a while, but no, that's okay. That's good. I'm just fascinated. So how do we begin doing something like this?
Well, you begin by stringing the beads. That's the first thing you have to do. The beads either come on temporary strings or they come on in loose in a package. And you have to put them onto your working fiber, whether it's a cotton or whether it's a rayon.
Okay.
And then you get to start either...
Okay, so this could be a mindless thing for somebody else to do, like kids.
Well, or your husband.
Watching
great. Oh, yeah, it's great for your husband. Yeah.
Okay, so you put all those on. This one that I've got around my neck, there was a story to this, too, isn't there?
That's the miser's bag. And in Dickensian England, of course, with the light being rather low and with misers being rather loath to part with their cash, you needed to know which was for gold and which was for silver. So not only were they a tad difficult to get into.
You mean this is actually a purse?
It is a purse. That's right.
It's a finger bag.
And of course, one side is round. That's where your gold would be, were you a miser.
Right.
And one side is flat. That's where your silver would be. But now, of course, you can't leave your bag at the table. So you throw it around your neck, tuck it over your belt, hold it over your arm. This is all, for the knitters out there, a garter stitch project, very basic project, a knit project.
It would fit my glasses.
It does.
It would fit.
Yes, we're very practical
things,
women.
money, it would fit whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, most of our bags will fit the things that you need to carry, whether it's your glasses, your credit card, a bit of money.
35 cents for the phone.
Yeah,
Right,
and a good handkerchief, because my mom told you had to have that.
Yes. Well, I always go to movies and I have to cry, so or weddings,
exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let us begin. Could you begin with something like?
Oh, sure.
Well, actually, should we look at what you could? These are the miser's bags, you said.
Right. Those are knit.
So this is a bag.
This is Gracie Fields, actually. She's a crochet bag, and she's a passport holder.
Oh, I see. Of course. So you got more like that.
Yeah.
And this round is.
This is Mia.
Crocheted.
She's crocheted.
Okay, and then that. Yeah.
Mia's because we lost Mia once, and we named her
see.
Mia because she went missing in
Missing
action.
in action.
Well, I'm sure glad that we invited them to the show so they get off the island for just a bit. That's good. Let's see what else have we got here. Oh, this is one of these. This one, was this it?
That's Morag. She's called Morag because she's rather a Scottish lass and that she has beaded Shetland
This is the
lace.
part that blew my mind.
Oh, this is really cool. This is a new replica gate frame.
Oh, wow.
So you can get right in there.
Yeah. Okay, we got to get doing this.
Okay.
You got to show me. Okay. Show me.
Knitting and crochet, the principles are the same, but of course your tools are different. Knitting, you're using knitting needles, and Patricia's going to demonstrate the crochet in just a second here. When you're knitting with beads, what you're going to do is you're going to knit your stitch. Actually, you're going to slip your first stitch.
I know how to knit, so I can knit.
Well, it's just garter stitch.
Yeah.
And then you're going to slide your beads between your stitches. In this case, I'm sliding 2 beads between the stitches, knitting my stitch.
Okay, and then you take another and
2
you
beads,
2 more beads.
knit the stitch. 2 beads.
Yeah.
Now, here's the tricky part. Are you watching?
I just thought that was pretty simple. What else?
I knit the stitch. That's it.
Oh, that's
There
it?
is no tricky part. No,
Okay.
sorry, Linda, there's no tricky part.
Okay, all right.
That's it.
That's it.
You do that all the way across the row, and when you're done, you can eventually end up with a piece of knitting that looks like this.
Right.
You then would just take a running stitch around your edge.
And gather it into a
Gather
button.
it in. So now, for the
Ooh.
sewers out there, it becomes something that you can either use to cover a button
Yes.
or put it on a button
Yes,
cover.
yes. And I did see there was something here. Yeah, you put it on button cover, so that would be quite neat, too.
You can glue it onto an earring back if you like.
These tassels, are they done with the same basic thing?
Exactly the same kind of thing.
Oh, now we're talking. You
And
don't have to
Patricia
make
has
very much of that.
No, you're
No.
talking a 20-minute project to do that.
And you can either knit them or crochet. So for the crocheters,
Okay.
the principle is the same, but
All
you're
right.
pretty much, what you're doing is you've got about an inch worth of beads up by your fingers,
Okay.
and you're just going in. In this case, though, what you're going to do is you're going to put it right in the stitch. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a stitch, drop a bead down in, and crochet around the bead.
Okay.
Like that.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And then you're going to go back in there again. This is Bronwyn. She's one of our crocheted scarves. Of course, when you're on television, things never go as quickly and
Oh, that looks
nicely
pretty
as they're
fast to me.
supposed to.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's
And then
basically
you'll
what...
just-
Then you go into the next chain space, just like that. Do your stitch. Pull up a bead.
Oh, right.
And the beads, if you hold the beads up by your hand, both if you're knitting and you're crocheting, then you've got the beads there, and they're not going to
What does
get
this
away.
look like when it's finished then?
Oh, I'll show you. It looks like this.
Okay, we're going to just do a whole big row of it. Then.
We're going to do a great big long row of it, and then put some nice fringe on it.
Sure.
And this is called Bronwyn.
Of course it's called Bronwyn. Lovely Bronwyn. and so the same principle, is this one knitted or crocheted?
That's knit. This is Jane, because Jane goes out to theater and dinner.
Okay.
You see.
And
And
that's
once again,
knitted?
here's the buttons.
Okay, yeah.
The pattern for Jane and the kit for Jane also includes the change purse inside.
Okay.
Because you might not
okay.
want to get your credit card mixed in with your other things.
Ladies, I'm fascinated. This has been great. So thank you for coming, and thank you for inspiring me and inspiring you too. I hope it. We got to go because we got more exciting things coming up. Thanks.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
I love going to sewing shows because I meet so many interesting people there, and that's where I met my last guest. But one of the sewing shows I went to, a woman came up to me and she said, I've got this great idea for a playhouse, kind of a portable playhouse, and she kind of described it to me, and I thought, oh, I've got to do that. So here's what we made. We made a playhouse because I think it's kind of fun. Hey, something's going on with this playhouse. I knew it, Stephen. You're in there. Okay, come out.
Great.
Yes.
Great
yes.
playhouse, Linda.
Yeah.
Great
This is my
stuff.
friend Stephen, and I thought this is the kind of thing that you'd like to do,
I'd
probably.
love to do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd help you with this.
Did you ever have a playhouse when you were little?
No.
You were too
Well, I mean,
poor.
we had sort of a wooden one, but we moved, and of course I couldn't take it with me.
Yeah. So I think the perfect kind of a playhouse is a portable playhouse, something that you could put up outside, you could put it up inside, you can put different covers. The woman in me says you want different covers because this sort of looks like a gingerbread house or whatever, but we could make an underwater house, we could make fantasy, we could
It
make...
becomes your canvas kind of, too, right?
Yes, yes. So I thought that you might like to help me making a house.
I'd love to.
Okay.
All right.
So, do you know what I've got here? It sort of looks like Tinker Toys, don't you think?
It's dowels, basically, and some connectors for plumbing connectors.
It's your
basically
kind of
PVC
stuff.
plumbing,
Yeah, in fact-
man stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
can't you just even get these things like this? I mean, it doesn't have to be dowels. It could be this.
No,
pipe
it could be
stuff.
anything. It could be PVC pipe, too.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of dowels around, so that's why we used
Yeah,
it.
it works good and gives a little more strength.
Sure. Okay, so...
I like what you did here. You numbered everything first. Before we put it all together, you have one, match
I
everything
think
all the
that's
way
kind of-
around.
because it's going to have to be the guy that takes it apart and puts
Yeah.
it probably back together.
I just need your help because we're pretty much together. As soon as I put this in, if
Okay.
we pick the four up from their actual, they'll fall out.
Oh,
So
well,
we'll
that's
put it
part
in
of the
like
game.
This.
So, and it's not the sturdiest, but I think it's going to hold together, especially once we
fabric
get...
seems to hold
yeah,
it together.
Yeah, especially once we get that done. And we did actually put some little pins in to kind of hold it.
Yeah, well, there's places throughout these connectors here where you can put a nail or a screw if you wish.
Yeah,
You want to get
yeah.
fancy, you can put a screw in it, but a nail works just as good.
So you can see we could design a house just any size you want to make it. I mean, this could be longer, this could be wider, this could be taller, this could be whatever it is you want to do. So,
of course.
You know,
but this works really nice, this size.
Yeah, so you could get a bunch, and these are not expensive. So I think we spent maybe $10 on these connector things, and then you figure out whatever you want to put.
What you want for wood, and it's not going to be very much money at all.
No, so I think you could maybe do a few of these. You know, it sort of looked like the doghouse when you were in there, and you wouldn't think of that.
I could get this far. This is as far as I could get. The sewing of the house, Linda. That's the tough.
All right. Let us have a look and show you what you're going to do. So, here. Let me just get over here. And I think you're going to have to come over here with me.
Sure.
So I think the easiest thing is to sort of draw it out on paper. So you can. So
Okay.
there is our gable, and
So
we
there's
need to
the
make
end.
the pattern for that. So then we're going to put a side on this.
Okay.
And we wanted to put a window because every kid needs to sort of be able to see out. And we decided to use the window of screen because then people can see out, but you can't see in so easily. And of course, if you were in there, you could put a
little
curtain.
more private.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
you know how kids don't want you to see what's in
Sure,
there.
they don't want the adults bothering.
So that is the side, and we actually work that window into the two seams. So that's a piece, that's
So
a
this
piece.
becomes three pieces,
Yes.
with the center piece having the window
Have a
out
window
of
in it, yeah. And you could have a folding blind, or you could have a roll-up blind,
Sure,
or
do
whatever
whatever you
on there.
wish, like a tent.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So that goes onto there. Then the roof. And the roof is one piece, and that roof would fit in. The wall just fell over, but that's okay. We sew that to that. And actually, if you put this, maybe we could do it down, because you can sort of see. We're going to sew that to that, and we've put a little bit of overhang, so that's going to go right around the corner.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Mhm.
And then this side piece is going to go right on top of that.
Oh.
So that's all going to be encased. So if you kind of see here, that there's an overlap there.
Yeah, there. You can see that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
overlapped. It goes up a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is just free in here.
Okay.
So, and if you want, you can put ties on the inside, and you can tie it sort of to your frame. So that is sort of basically your frame. What kind of fabric do you suppose?
You're the expert. I mean, I don't really know. What is that?
You know, this could have been a tent. This is water repellent nylon,
Right.
so that's kind of good. But you don't have to have it outside. It could be inside. It could be a calico house. We could have it all sections. You could make it all different fabrics. You could take all of your scraps and all of your. You could recycle
You could do
all
one
your
of your
jeans.
scrap crazy things,
Yes,
right?
yes, you could. It
All the
really
way.
doesn't matter. In fact, each side different would be kind of nice.
Oh,
I don't know
not a
why
bad idea.
people build these houses, make them all one color.
No.
I mean, you could paint them all different colors. That'd be way more fun, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is the time that you can play with this, and you can have your own sort of look. With
Although this one looks pretty sleek. It looks kind of like a tent where you would sign treaties out, you know, back in the old days, you know, with the color and everything. But you can get wild with it for kids, too.
So what we decided to do, and we have built this one, because basically we used this same principle and this sort of same idea.
Right.
And we actually put this together. So it's kind of tough to do it all on camera, so we kind of did some stuff.
Right.
So the secret to putting this on is to find the peak.
Find the peak.
So if you can find the peak of the roof, and maybe actually before I do that, I should have a look at the seams. Because what we did was we sewed the seams and we serged them. And it's a good idea to make them good and strong, because you don't want to be repairing this house all the time. So make them good and strong and serge them together, probably sew them double. So that is all sewn together in there, and we're going to get the peak. So if we can kind of bring it up.
Bring this up. And get it to the peak.
Yeah, get it to the peak. Have you got the...
I do.
Yeah, okay.
There it is.
And then we'll bring this side down. And you might have guessed that this is actually underwater, because it's blue.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
The marine theme.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So here we go. We even decided it needed a little bit of seaweed.
I see that.
There's obviously seaweed underneath there and whatever. So we did get some kids together to try and paint, because we said, well, they should probably paint directly on here. But it wasn't really ready yet. So I said, well, how about painting on a little curtain? So here's one of our little 5-year-old friends that came and painted her own design on that. So that could actually flip up and close off the window if you want, or whatever. I mean, the possibility.
Or leave it hanging for style.
Leave it hanging. If you look at the door of this, we sort of thought maybe we'll move this around a little bit here. We thought if this is going to be underwater, we should make a great big shell for it.
Huh,
So
good idea.
there's the shell. And
How
then
did
that
you do that?
flips up. Well, that is just 2 pieces of fabric. Sew it right sides together and then flip it and put some batting, some kind of batting inside, and stitch it down. And this could be Velcroed if you want, or it could be just left sort of hanging. So then on the other side, we've done some more painting. And you can see it's fairly sturdy when you've got this cover on it.
Totally. That's what really holds it together.
And this was another one of our little girl's paintings. So there we go with her painting on there.
Very cool.
So that is kind of, that's it for...
Pretty affordable, too. There's not a lot of money in fabric here.
Yeah.
It's your own time and your own sort of...
When we put this together, we thought, you know, because it's on the ocean, we should put some sand on the bottom. So you might not have noticed the sand, but there actually is sand. That's that color.
That's that color.
That's that color.
Sand, right.
If you look at the back, we thought maybe it's best to do an emergency exit.
Yeah, never a bad thing when you're underwater.
Yeah, exactly. You're running out. So then we just put some hook and loop tape, and there's an emergency exit if you want. But you wouldn't have to do that. It's up to you to decide.
Not a bad idea, though.
What you want to do. So we thought a whole bunch of kids could play in there. And I don't know about you, but I've done a lot of playhouses and inflatable. I did an inflatable cake the last time. You might remember that. Mm-hmm. If you get kids inside, it's not so bad when they make noise if they're all inside someplace. Yeah, but if they're all over the place making noise, then they start to get a little more, you know, on our nerves or whatever. But this is a good place.
So this is a good time-out place for them.
Yes.
Just stick them in the house and don't worry about them.
Yeah. So I think you could make, I mean, when you get into the inside, you could make some curtains. You could make a little chair. I mean, you could have rocks in the bottom of your ocean.
Yeah, there's room. There's a lot of room in there too for if you're thinking of little kids, little 5, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. There's lots of room in there.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of fun. Let the kids sort of imagine and let them go wild. Let's us do a little bit of painting because this isn't really done yet.
No, we have to kind of touch it up. So, you know what I noticed though, when this wasn't on it. Heck of a good drying rack, too.
Oh, that's true.
Well, it is.
That is very true. That could work double duty.
All right.
Here we go, and we've got some paint brushes. So we can just take, and this doesn't really matter what kind of paint you've got. Whatever, I sort of thought, well, if you've got poster paint, it would probably work, but this is an acrylic paint that's going to, you know, hang on there. So shall we just start? Maybe, where do you want to start?
First cut's the deepest, so I think I should let you go first.
All right, so I'll just sort of start, and I'll just kind of... You know, fish are sort of shaped kind of like this and kind of like that. Mm-hmm. You can start filling in. I mean, polka dot fish would be fine.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking
octopus, maybe you could do an octopus.
Striped fish. Can I stripe your fish?
Yes, you can stripe my fish.
Okay, that's what I'll do. So I'll give them some stripes up the back like
you could have the kids paint this before it actually was put together, but it's kind of neat to actually have it now and then sort of. This is... As you probably realize, Steve, this is not just for kids.
No, I can see that. All right.
The parents probably get more excited about it than the kids because, I mean, the construction is all very fun.
This is great.
So I just sort of let your kids go wild and let them have some fun. And oh, my glasses. See, I'm getting so excited.
I know. This is great, though. This is a great little project.
Put some seaweed, put some whatever.
Not a lot of time in it either, is there?
No, and there's not a lot of money involved. I mean, the cover can be anything. And the old dowels or something you might have around and these coupling things. I mean, it's sort of like Tinker Toys. It's just sort of...
Totally.
You know, I wanted a playhouse for my kids when they were little, and, you know, I wanted the whole thing, and, you know, I was after my husband, because I don't pound and do all this stuff very well, and, you know, by the time we actually got the playhouse, they were kind of beyond the playhouse, so, you know.
But now you have grandchildren.
Well, now.
A grandchild.
Okay, she'll be
having... She has a couple pieces of property now, too.
She has.
Yeah,
kind of nice. Fun. So, thanks, Stephen. This has
my
been
pleasure.
Great.
I'll keep painting then.
Okay, you keep painting, and we're going to go, and we're going to have another exciting guest. You know, I always love to get letters, so do make sure that you write to me or phone or whatever. Email is really great. I did get a letter this week, and it says, Dear Linda, I love your show, and I'm so happy that you're taping more. I work in a bridal boutique sewing for brides-to-be. My question is, how do you work with those fabulous pre-scrunched fabrics? And that's from, sincerely, Irene in Sydney, Nova Scotia. That's on our East Coast, so that's a place I love very much. Irene, I bet it's for the brides-to-be for their going-away outfit or whatever, because this fabric is so exquisite. This is one of our suedes. It comes like that. It comes all wrinkled. Because it's suede, you don't have to do anything to the bottom. So we thought it was kind of neat to actually make an asymmetric hem on this. You might just as well exaggerate the fact that you don't have to do anything. How are you going to sew it? Well, again, we did nothing to the neck edge. You could do something. You could turn that. The sewing part of it is very simple because you really can just sew it as if it's a regular fabric. You can It's permanently crinkled. It's permanently creased. Be careful not to iron that with too hot of an iron, because if you do that, you might possibly get the wrinkles out. So when I say don't iron, isn't that the good news? You don't have to iron this. So that is just a very simple top made out of the suede one. This jacket could be maybe the mother of the bride. This is a very elegant kind of a fabric, and you can see that it's all scrunched like that, and that is permanent. That will wash. That will stay forever. So what we did on this one is we put a little bit of interfacing. It is our iron-on interfacing, a knit tricot, just to kind of hold that in place while we just turned that under and top-stitched it. So that's the hems around the neck. Everything is just done like that. So it's just an unlined jacket. I think very simply sewn. There's no side seam. This is our awesome jacket. So this is the only seam, and it does really sew together very nicely. So this one is another similar kind of a thing. There it is, again, crinkled fabric. So I think you can have some really interesting things made of the crinkled fabric. I don't think you need to worry about them. So I hope that answered your question. But I've got to get to my guests again, because they were just ready to leave, and I realized that they're doing some interesting. What is it?
It's a bracelet. It's knit or crochet with wire. Linda, if you can put a twist in it, you can knit or crochet with it. And we were fooling around with wire.
Okay, so show me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Patricia strung this up for me. This is a 26 gauge wire, and we use gemstone quality chips. We're using birthstone and healing stones, actually. I'm using a thumb cast on, so I slide on a bead, put a loop in my thumb, put the needle through the loop, and pull it up. Not too tight, because there's no give with the wire. It's not like wool. It's worse than cotton in terms of having
I like it,
give.
though. It's so sturdy.
Well, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if I was doing a bracelet, I'd do a few more.
If they fall off, you can put them back on.
Well, yeah, you just saw that, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to knit it exactly the same way as you do any knit stitch, around, through, and off. Only this time on my next stitch, I'm going to drop a bead in. Just like with the bead crochet and the beaded knitting, you add a bead in between your stitches. Same thing exactly with the knitting. Just working along.
And do we have to worry about tension? I would think if the tension got a little too much, I could sort of scrunch it in, couldn't I?
Well, what you're going to do is pull it out more than anything, because you don't want your bracelet to have all these extra loops in it.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is just pull it out. So I won't go the rest of this row. I'll just show you how to do the cast off. The cast off is exactly the same as any other kind of knitting cast off. You knit a stitch, only I'm going to use a bead in this cast off row, and I'm going to bring the stitch up over
that. And
the
you
top.
bring that around.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can see what happens when you pull it off and you start to stretch it out.
Oh, I see. Okay, cast off, yeah. So you
I would just cast those off. And then to finish it...
So then you get a row.
Yep.
Is this one row then? Or
That's
is this...
actually 3 rows. Beads in the cast on, 1 row of knitting with beads, and beads in the cast off.
Okay.
And then in the kits, we include some great little magnets.
We have these wonderful little magnets that they are there, and they hold out your wrist. This is just so neat because it's on.
And it stays on?
Oh, yeah. You don't have any trouble with it. And it's one of those things that even if you're having trouble with your hands, you can get this on and off. Mm-hmm. It just goes like that.
And I would suppose that we get that on very easily by putting a little loop of wire.
That's
that
right.
What you say?
Well,
exactly.
Yes. What you're doing is when you get to the edge of your cast on and cast off edge, you're going to use that edge to make a little wind your wire and then wind your little ring through there and attach the magnet.
Yeah,
it's just a little jump ring that's attached to the magnet.
Okay, and to make this our little coil thing, you just go back
just
and
wind
forth.
it
You don't
around
need
and
a needle.
No, you don't. As a matter of fact, here's where your needle nose pliers come in really handy.
Yes, of course. Or his needle nose pliers. He's got your scissors anyway, so
that's right. Just go to the nice store and get yourself a nice little pair of needle nose pliers that fit your hands and put them in your sewing kit.
Yes. I would imagine, have you done necklaces? I mean, this technique, could this not be used? Could we not make...
Sure.
It can. Yeah, you'd want to use more of a choker style because it doesn't drape. You can also use the same technique around an earring hoop that you buy from your craft store. Put a crimp bead so you can make earrings to match.
Sure.
You could make a button, the same as we were doing with the knitting.
I'm delighted. I'm going to do it. It's been great. We've got to go. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time on Linda MacPhee's Workshop, and we'll have fun.
To receive the companion book for this series, send $19.98 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee.